Hey guys, welcome to the Tea in Tokyo podcast. This is episode 25. My name is Somya.
And I'm Ellie.
And what have we done this week?
So this week we ventured out of Tokyo and visited Karuizawa.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll tell you all about it right now. This is the first podcast that we're doing outside of our apartment. We're actually in Nagano, but this podcast is about
We just arrived in Nagano from Karuizawa.
We were really wanting to record this podcast over there, but we just didn't have time. And we have a couple of hours to kill now, so we thought we'd do it here.
So we apologise for how echo-y it is. This is a really nice Airbnb, but it's very it's one of those big empty modern ones. So there's a lot of echo, there's no rugs or anything, it's just wooden floors.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't sound too bad though. But yeah, so it's Thursday today. We travelled to Karuizawa on Monday. And yeah, so it was our first proper overnight trip somewhere outside of Tokyo. We were going to take the Shinkansen, the bullet train, but we figured that it's way too expensive to take. Because it's something like 5,000... Oh no, it was actually more than that. It was about 8,000 yen just going one way, which is ridiculous. So we thought we're better off just taking the bus.
And we decided we really wanted to take the Shinkansen because we wanted to, you've got to experience that. But there's a deal coming up soon. In August, they're going to be half price. So we're screw it, we'll wait until then.
We definitely want to experience it at least once. So we might as well wait till it's half price. Because we're thinking about going to probably Nikko. There's a nice waterfall there that you can take the bullet train to, so we're probably going to do that in a couple of months. But for now we just took the highway bus,
which everyone was saying to me at work. They were like, oh well, good luck with that, it's so uncomfortable. I didn't find it that uncomfortable. It was totally fine.
Yeah, it might be worse for longer trips maybe, but our one was 4 hours and it was fine.
Yeah,
especially since we basically just fell asleep for most of it. Well, actually probably not, maybe not most of it. We fell asleep for a little bit of it.
Yeah, it was... The thing is, the reason we didn't sleep the whole thing is because it wasn't exactly the most comfortable way to sleep. But
yeah, it
was fine. It had nice views.
And the bus does stop a couple of times to in different stops to pick up people. And also in the middle for a break stop.
Yeah, there was a 15-minute break where you could have a wander. So I thought the highway bus was all good. And it was way cheaper. It was 2,000 to 3,000 yen?
No, it was less than that. It was only...
Oh, really?
It was 1,500 yen.
Each?
Yeah, 1,500 yen each one way, as opposed to 8,000 one way for the Shinkansen. So if you want to save money, definitely don't take the Shinkansen.
And apparently the highway buses can be even cheaper because I believe they do overnight ones.
Yeah.
Which are even cheaper. So,
Yeah, I think if we took an overnight one, it would be 600 yen.
Because the logic with that is you can sleep the whole bus. You don't have to pay for a hotel that night. And then you explore the whole day. But I knew that for myself, I wouldn't be sleeping properly on the bus, so it would kind of almost, for me, that next day would be not a waste, but I'd be too sleepy to properly enjoy it. So we decided to just take it.
Yeah, there's no point taking an overnight bus there, I reckon. Maybe on the way back. If you had work the next day, you could actually take an overnight bus.
Honestly, if you only had a weekend, it would make sense to take it. So you had the full weekend, take it there and back, and you'd have you don't have to pay for one night at a hotel.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that.
Yeah, we didn't. But yeah, man, this time is the perfect time to go. We were, originally we were the only people on the bus and we thought we were going to be the only ones, but then eventually on different stops people kind of came in. But still, it wasn't even half full,
I would say there was maybe 8 other people, 4 couples.
Yeah. Super, super, super quiet. It's such a good time to travel right now. And then once we go to Karuizawa, it's definitely super quiet there as well.
Yeah, so it's rainy season, which we went there aware that it was rainy season. This was we were hoping that rainy season might be over because sometimes apparently it's sort of half the month, so we're hoping we might get lucky. And we were kind of hoping to escape the heat of Tokyo. So it was pretty quiet,
Yeah, I kind of wasn't thinking about the rainy season until the week before when we actually started checking the weather and it was raining. Because when we were planning on going to Okinawa, we were really worried about the rainy season then because we thought, oh crap, we don't want to go there when it's raining every day. So I hadn't really thought about it for this area. By the way, the prefecture that we're in is called Nagano. So that is a prefecture. And we're in like the capital city right now, which is called Nagano as well. And Karuizawa is just another...
It's like a resort town. So it's normally super popular in the winter as like a skiing resort and like snowboarding. But it's also become popular in the summer because it's like in the mountains. It doesn't get anywhere near as hot as like the rest of Japan in summertime.
Yeah, if you're from like New Zealand, it's kind of like what Hamner Springs is. Or if you're from America, something like Boulder, Colorado or something. Just like a mountain town that's kind of small.
Yeah, Karuizawa is like, it's a popular place for people to own like a holiday home or a second house if you're wealthy. You know, as you're like, because it's a resort town. Like, it's not a cheap place to live.
I mean, you were saying that you think Bill Gates has a house there, right?
I'm sure when I was looking up Karuizawa, it said, like, this is a popular place for, like, the extra wealthy. And I think it's the rumour is that Bill Gates' second house is here. And I think the page listed a couple of other famous people who have, like, holiday homes there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, by the way, so the hotel that we're at is called Appa Hotel, which is right next to Karuizawa Station. So the highway bus that we took, it can drop you off at a number of places in Karuizawa. But we just got dropped off in the station. And man, I would highly recommend people stay at this place.
I would honestly give the hotel like a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Simply because it was so convenient. The room was like relatively nice. It had nice high ceilings. It was, you know, had all the amenities. The only bad thing about our room was that, and Sonia didn't even notice this, but I did, was that in the bathroom, the like seal had pulled away, which meant it had gone like, I don't even know if it was moldy or just discoloured, which was kind of like not great.
No,
but
I definitely noticed.
Did you notice?
Yeah, but no, before.
Okay.
But it's not something that I would even consider top. Like,
I don't know, because to me that indicates like, I don't know. I don't think a hotel should have like, I don't know, gross stuff like that. It wasn't even gross, but yeah, that was the one small thing that was like, ugh. But otherwise, the like location was super convenient.
Yeah, when we were walking around town, we saw a couple of other hotels that looked really nice, but no other hotel was in such a great location. Like the fact that it's right next to the station, and then it's like a 5-minute walk to a very famous shopping centre there. And then we also noticed that we didn't use it, and it wasn't even like working, but there are ski lifts in a nearby mountain. And obviously those ski lifts are for skiing in the wintertime. So if you go in wintertime for the skiing and stuff, then it's also like a really great place to stay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a chain. So you know that they've got certain standards, right? That the chain has to maintain.
Yeah.
Like if we weren't going to stay at a chain like that, I think the other place to stay in Karuizawa would be like a traditional Japanese inn, like a ryokan, where you have onsen. Because this place is also known for its onsen. So that would be the alternative. But we went for convenience.
Yeah, actually, that's probably the only reason why I would stay in another place is if you wanted like the onsen experience during winter. That'd be real nice.
And I feel like if you stayed in onsen, you're kind of staying there and not really exploring outside, because the whole reason you're going is to experience that.
Yeah.
Whereas we were going and we were basing ourselves at our accommodation, but we were travelling around Karuizawa from there.
So it's summer right now, and in Tokyo, it's super hot.
Super hot, super humid. So gross.
And also here in Nagano right now, it's really hot as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our mindset when we were going to Karuizawa. That, it's summer, so there's no point taking winter clothing. Now, I had read that Karuizawa is 1,000 meters up, so it is quite like high up. But I didn't expect...
Before we left, I said, don't forget to bring one of your jackets, just in case. But
I had it. Yeah, I had it. And then as I was walking out the door, I went to tie my shoes or something, and I put the jacket down, and I forgot to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any pants or anything. I only had shorts.
You wore no pants the whole time.
I only had shorts. I didn't have any jeans. And man, instant regret. It was pretty goddamn cold there.
It was an okay tip. It was okay. So what happened is Soumya ended up buying like a crew neck with long sleeves, so that he had that on the top half and just shorts, and you were a good temperature then, right?
Yeah, it was. Yes, true. So maybe freezing isn't the right word. It wasn't freezing, but it was definitely cold.
It was cold. Like, I only had a denim jacket, and I found that was like, you know how denim jackets don't really keep you warm? They kind of like block the wind from hitting you directly.
Yeah.
So that was like kind of almost enough most days, but like on one of the days it was pretty cold, and that was not enough. Like, I was pretty cold when we were walking around that day.
Yeah, and because this is the rainy season, super foggy, super rainy.
So it was kind of cool. It was like very Silent Hill-esque.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, most of the times we couldn't see the mountain in front of us. So the first day, the big thing that we did was we went to the shopping plaza there. It's called the Prince Shopping Plaza, right next to the station.
Yeah. All of my students, when I said I was going to Karuizawa, were like, oh, big shopping mall there. And I was like, yeah, whatever, it can't be that big. But man, I did not, like, I underestimated how big this plaza was.
Yeah, really big. And the cool thing is, like, the first thing I noticed there was there's like a Gucci and like a Prada. Like, it looked like a kind of like a rich place to shop. But the cool thing is that it's sort of like an outlet mall.
It is.
So everything is basically like at least 40% off, if not like 60-70% off. So you go into these stores and the prices are so good.
Yeah,
I wish that we were rich, because there was so much stuff there to buy. So, you know, there's those rich stores like Prada and Gucci, but then there's also like sporting stores like Puma, Adidas, Nike. Then there's a bunch of other like
Gap, Banana Republic, like
heaps of clothing stores. There's some places where you can buy like souvenirs. There's jewelry shops.
It's also very animal friendly. Like they had in that, like there's a big sort of like grassy park area in the middle of it, and they would have announcements regularly where they'd be like, "We thank you and your dog for visiting us."
Yeah, it kind of seemed like a mall that was for humans and dogs.
There was even a section where it was called the dog department cafe, and then next to it there was a pet spa and then like a pet store. So it was definitely like
with a big ass dog park thing as well right next to it.
You know, and everyone was walking around with their like tiny toy poodles or their chihuahuas and their prams.
Yeah, so many dogs. We saw so many. What are those Japanese dogs called?
Shiba Inus.
Yeah, man, so many of those, and like so many white ones.
Yeah.
You know, we kept pointing out every white one and it looked like it was the same dog.
Yeah, it might have been the same one over and over again.
Nah, the owners are definitely different. But yeah, man, so many goddamn dogs, you know.
But yeah, the prices were so good as well. Like we went to Levi's because I really needed some new jeans. I tried to order like, you don't need this story, but I tried to order some from this from Topshop online, but they never arrived. And so I've been like holding out because I find like Japanese sizes do not accommodate having hips with a small waist. So in like Japan, if you need it big enough to go over your hips, it's going to be super baggy on your waist. So I've been struggling to find jeans, and mine were getting pretty like ratty. So we went to Levi, and they had like a buy two get one free deal on top of the discounts, like the 70% off or whatever. So we ended up buying like jeans, a top, Somya's crew neck. We went to Puma, we both bought sneakers, and it was so cheap.
Yeah, I really kind of didn't even want to buy shoes because I didn't really feel like I needed them, but they were so cheap. Proper running shoes.
But Somya did need them. That Somya only has his work shoes, a pair of Allbirds, and his hiking shoes. So Somya needed another pair of shoes.
Yeah, but the thing is, I definitely don't need sport shoes because I don't do running. I don't go to the gym.
Yeah, but I feel like wearing hiking shoes all the time is a bit too extreme. You know, you need to have the runners.
I literally wore that here in Karuizawa. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that your shoes were a good purchase.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was like $40 for shoes that, you know, if I bought them in New Zealand or something, it'd probably be like 140, 150.
Yeah.
Everything was so cheap here. Normally, I don't really like shopping that much. And I'm not really interested in buying that much, but man, here, like, I just wanted to buy everything. Because everything was so cheap.
And we sound really lame being so excited about a mall, but I feel like until you've been there, you can't quite grasp how just like, I don't know how like, it's not like multi-storied, it's just like this massive plaza. Like, it just keeps on going. Like, we did all our shopping, we were heading back to our hotel, and then we realised that there was a whole nother section.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a mall. They call it a shopping plaza, but it's not like a mall as in, like, everything's indoors and kind of thing. It's, you know, it's sort of like a park. It's like a park with stores in it, you know. Yeah,
like a really park with stores all around the, like, outside.
Yeah, it's actually great just to walk around in and stuff, because there's a lot of nature. There's even, like, a tiny little lake with, like... Well, actually, I was going to say it's got like, animals in it. It had one geese and one... like tern or something in it.
Yeah, but still, you know.
Yeah, but still, it's like super relaxing. So yeah, so that was the first thing we did, and
so that was the first, because we arrived like midday, so we were like, we don't want to do any like proper trips outwards, so we were like, we'll just explore like the actual Karuizawa like city part.
Yeah. Also, it was raining, and it was like foggy, and we thought you know, maybe the weather will clear up the next day. So we kind of just did that. Other thing is the food at this mall is actually really nice. So,
yeah.
You know, again, it's not like mall food. It's, you know, in fact, let's even stop saying mall because it's not a mall.
Well, there was one cafeteria type thing which was more mall.
Oh, true. Yeah, it did have
but
that.
It still had good food, yeah.
Holy crap.
And then there was along the main street, like facing the front street, there was a bunch of restaurants.
Yeah.
And we went to 3 of them. We went to a Hawaiian burger place, a pizza place, and a Chinese place, and all of them had vegetarian options.
Yeah. Really, like, nice variety of food. And I think the reason they had so many vegetarian options is probably because I imagine a lot of foreigners and a lot of, like, they have a lot of visitors from outside of the town going.
Yeah, because they're used to having foreign tourists. It's definitely... Yeah, I imagine it's something that they're used to, like, catering to.
Yeah.
Almost every staff member we spoke to had, like, a small amount of English. So with our, like, small amount of Japanese plus their English, we totally got by fine.
Yeah, for sure.
They always had English menus.
Yeah, so apart from it being a skiing destination and the shopping plaza, the 2 things that the area is kind of known for is a waterfall, Shiraito Falls. Shiraito Falls. And also like a viewing platform called the...
Usui Pass.
Usui Pass, yeah. God damn it, I always screw up Usui Pass.
I might be saying it wrong, I'm not sure.
No, I think it is that. But yeah, so the second day we went to Shiraito Falls, and also, you know, another reason why it's so good to stay at the Apa Hotel is because it's next to the train station, which is also where basically all the buses come.
Yeah.
So you're going to be right next to the bus stop to be able to go to your
and just to
destinations.
Like compliment the hotel even more, we went to ask at the reception about the bus timetable, and luckily we did, because what we found online is actually different because coronavirus has affected how often the buses are running. So they were really nice, and they gave us like a timetable, and they circled on the map where we need to go and where we get off, which times it's going, like leaving, when it's coming back. So that was very helpful.
Yeah, so to get to the falls, you take a bus there. It's probably like a 30-minute bus ride or something.
Maybe at least like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was 720 yen, like each way. First of all, like the bus stop at the waterfall, it's literally only a 2-minute walk to the falls. Like, it's barely a walk. It's
Japan
right next
has
to the
totally
road.
mastered having like these nice naturey spots where you can take a bus there easily, or a tram or whatever, and then it's got a tiny little walk so you feel like you've achieved something, but it's also accessible because obviously they've got a pretty old population here.
Yeah,
so
true.
It's good. Like, we saw like there was like a couple there who had clearly taken, like, it was one of their mums, and you know, she was like hobbling along where they both held each of her arms.
Yeah.
But because it was so easily like accessible, like, you know, this little tiny old lady could go see the waterfall too. So yeah, you get off at the bus stop, there's a whole lot of souvenir shops on one side of the road, and then you do a short little walk. And the reason this waterfall is famous is it's called the like string waterfall because it's not very tall, but it's very long, or like wide.
Yeah, it's like a half circle almost.
Yeah, and it's like the way the water falls down, it kind of looks like, I don't know what the word is.
Yeah, I couldn't actually see the river that it was coming off from. Like,
yeah, it looked like it was coming out of the mountain.
Yeah, I think, yeah, there must be a river there, but it almost looked artificial to me because, yeah, exactly, it was coming out of the mountain, like, you know, like just out of the soil. It looked so weird. Almost like there's no way that ground could be stable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how is that waterfall still there? Although we did see, there was like a sign saying that the waterfall had been like, there was like a massive flood and landslide there in 2001 or 2003.
Yeah, so had an image
maybe
of
they
the
fixed it
fully...
up a little bit where they've kind of made the ground more stable so it flows in a certain way.
I don't know, even when we were there, not at the actual fall, but in that short walk prior to it, there was a giant like tree had obviously fallen in a slip or a, like, I don't know what the word is, a mudslide. So clearly, like, it's not fully stable, but it's been there for like however many hundreds or thousands of years. So even if there's the occasional like mudslide, it's not the end of the world.
And also because it's like, you know, still coronavirus and travel's not happening right now and there's no tourists, there wasn't that many people there, and it gave us a chance to take some, like, you know, you can kind of just get right in the middle and take selfies and stuff. And
yeah, apparently it's normally quite busy, and it was kind of busy. There was a few other like groups of people because like we caught the bus with them, so we knew they were going to be there. But you know, it was, yeah, there was like, it was easy to get good photos where you couldn't see anyone else in the photo.
Yeah.
But like it is one of those things where like you take the bus there and that's the only thing to do there. So you go, you admire it, you take your photos, and then you catch the bus back.
Highly recommend everyone go see that. I've never seen a waterfall that's like that before.
Yeah.
Super clear, and also it wasn't very deep, and I don't know if people do this, I don't even know if it's allowed, but I imagine people would kind of go into the water and take photos.
I suspect you're not allowed to go in the water,
Yeah,
but I
not.
guess if you went at the right time when there was no one else there, like, who's going to stop you?
Yeah.
Slash, like, I bet, like, the locals used to do that before it became a tourist attraction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the next day we went to that observation point, which, by the way, observation in Japanese is called Mihara Shidai. And I kept seeing that everywhere, like there were arrows like pointing, and then it said that, and I was like, man. Like,
and when we got on the
It's
bus
not.
to go there, the guy was like, Mihara Shidai? And I was like,
Yeah.
Nani? Mihara Shidai?
Yeah, that's
saying?
right. Actually, we should probably point out that the day before, after the falls, we tried to get to this observation point.
Oh
by
my god,
walking.
yeah. So we put into Google Maps Usui Pass Observation Deck, and it took us to the Usui Pass like road, like the highway point on the road where cars can pull over, but you can't actually see anything. So we walked there. It wasn't that long, like it was fine. And then we were like, well, this is not the right place. So we looked it up again, and there was like another one came up. So we put in that one. It was like 40 minutes walk away from this one. So we wandered towards that one. It took us through like some different neighborhoods in Karuizawa, like maybe like the slightly wealthier neighborhoods, which was kind of cool. We got there. We were like, this is not the observation deck. And then finally we like looked it up again, and there was another one that was further away. We were like, it must be that.
So we basically just kept going on this wild goose chase, and we never got there. And then eventually we gave up. But then the next day when we actually took the bus went the exact same path that
it was just like 20 minutes further than where we'd walked.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, the place that we walked through, that like with the rich houses, man, that was such an amazing place. It's like it's like a forest, so there's trees and everything. Like it's quite like a thick forest, I guess. But then with these just houses like situated with
it was cool because instead of having grass lawns, they had like moss covered ground.
I've never been to a place that looks so green, you know, like a really nice like dark green everywhere.
Yeah.
And it looked like that they almost hadn't even disturbed the nature around it. They had just built the houses perfectly within these trees.
Yeah.
So yeah, that looked cool.
And it was actually kind of like, it was annoying that we couldn't find what we were trying to find, but it was kind of cool because it was a nice walk. The weather was pretty like all good. We took our jackets off and stuff, and we got to explore the actual like Karuizawa like city or town in the surrounding area like way more than we would have otherwise.
Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, when we actually went to the pass, we literally could not have chosen a worse day to go because it was so foggy, and the whole point of going to this observation point is obviously to observe. Yeah,
to see the view from 1,000. It's like 1,200 meters high.
Yeah.
But like it was the only day we could go. Like we hadn't made it the day before when the weather was good. We were leaving the day after that, so we were like, we're just gonna have to do it, and fingers crossed it's like above the fog, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. Oh yeah, actually the other cool thing about this point is that it's like halfway between Nagano prefecture and Gunma prefecture.
Yeah.
So you're like, there's like literally like a line, and if you're on one side, you're on one prefecture, if in the other, you're in another one.
Yeah, so you can stand
that's
in
like
two
a
at
fun
once.
thing. But yeah, we had no view at all. We couldn't see anything. It was just complete fog.
It was so
It was
foggy.
raining. We just had our umbrellas just looking at like.
It was good because we were literally the only people there.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only time that would be the only people there. But yeah, we didn't get to see. It's supposed to have a really good view of some like the southern Alps of Japan, and also 3 mountains.
Right.
And it's known as like Rising Sun Point because it's supposedly a good spot to view the sunrise. But
true.
we did not see any of that.
Yeah, the fog was really, really thick. Like we could probably only see a couple of meters in front of us, you know. But it was a great atmosphere to go to the nearby temple there.
Yeah.
The temple's called Kumano Kotai Shrine. So I guess it's a shrine, not a temple. But because of the fog, it made it look all mystical and you know, like it made it look like a nice like ancient temple that you would see like in a movie.
It felt like one of those environments where you'd walk up some steps and then you'd like get lost in the fog and you'd be like spirited away and you'd appear in some other world. So that was kind of cool. But it was like, so with the bus was only returning at certain times. So it was kind of good because we went there, we got off the bus, we're the only people going there. And the bus driver told us when he was next going to be back. And then when we finished doing the viewing platform, we still had like quite a bit of time before he came. So we were like, screw it, we'll go visit the shrine.
Yeah.
And it was nice. I bought like a little fortune thing which had a cute little cat.
Oh, yeah.
Like I got a little cat figurine out of it, and I think it was like medium fortune. It wasn't good or bad.
Damn.
Hey, no, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so those are kind of like the two main things. Oh, the one other thing, actually, that we saw on the way when we were walking to the observation point, well, actually, no, when we were walking back, was, it's called Old Ginza Street. So it's like this...
That's Old Karuizawa Ginza Street.
Oh, Old Karuizawa Ginza Street.
Like, I think when the city was, or the town was originally, like, old school, this was the shopping district.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a straight road. It goes all the way from, like, basically near the observation point to back to the station.
We got ice cream, nice experience.
Yeah. That was actually the only place we saw tourists as well.
Yeah, it was the only other place we saw, like, white people. So...
Yeah.
It was so exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely a place I wish we had a lot more money because there's some really nice things to buy there.
Yeah.
I saw this one shoe shop in particular.
Sonia loved the shoe shop.
Yeah, it was like really nice, like floral patterns and like natural patterns on the shoes.
Unique looking.
Yeah, really unique. Like if you bought those shoes, you'd be the only one to wear those shoes. And there was even a New Zealand store there.
Yeah, they had like CCCs.
Yeah.
They had like little Kiwis everywhere.
Selling only New Zealand stuff. I was like, oh man, we actually probably should. We didn't even go in. We probably should have. Maybe it was like a Kiwi working there. I don't know.
Yeah, or someone who loved New Zealand.
Yeah.
And on the way back, so we walked through Old Karuizawa back to our hotel, which was like, it's not a super long walk, but long enough when you're kind of very tired.
Yeah.
So we stopped for lunch and we went to a wee Japanese restaurant. And they had a vegetarian, like, set menu, which was cool.
Oh, yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, and the food was really good. I mean, mine was literally, like... It's good because I feel like in New Zealand, if you spent, like, $20, you get just the salad. But mine came with, like, this massive salad, and then it also had, like, a rice miso soup. Another side dish, and then another side dish.
It definitely made me realise that because they had, like, a menu on the outside, but it didn't have English on it. Definitely made me realise that even if they don't have English, it's probably worth asking because they ended up giving us an English menu.
Yeah, like we went in because we tried to go to a restaurant the other day that didn't have at home that didn't have an English menu, and it was a mission. So we're like, we're gonna ask, and if they don't, we'll leave.
Yeah.
Just because like we can kind of figure out the katakana, but like it takes a long time for me to read it. So we went in, and if anyone's coming to Japan, listen, you need to know, it's just literally eigo menu, English menu. Yeah? Do a little hand, shoulder motion, and they know, they either say yes or no. Man,
body
language.
Language, yeah. I was going to say body motion. Body language matters a lot when you're talking here, I reckon. I mean, if you suck the language like we do.
Yeah.
As long as you're pointing correctly and your face is kind of doing something, then it's so much easier to understand.
Yeah.
By the way, so when we were walking like through Ginza Street, this was when it was super foggy. When we had just come from the observation point, it was pretty early. So there's another point that we were going to go to, which is Karuizawa Bird Sanctuary. It's meant to be a large forest that you can walk through, and they also do like guided tours and stuff. Though we decided against it because it was so foggy. You literally couldn't see more than 10 meters in front of you.
And it started to rain it was getting pretty cold. Like this was at the point where like wearing my jacket and my scarf was like not enough. Like I was pretty cold.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were pretty gutted because we really wanted to go, but we were like, there's no point in going to a bird viewing place when you can't even see like a meter in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, man, we were gutted because the next day, so today, so it was super foggy yesterday. We could barely see anything yesterday. And then today we woke up and it's sunny, it's super hot.
It was the best weather that we had the whole time we were there.
Yeah, it was the best weather. Like, it would have been the perfect day to go to the bird sanctuary, but, we had to come to Nagano. So
we had to like check out of our hotel, so we had our bags.
Exactly. But despite the fog, despite the rain, it actually worked out really well. Like we kind of saw most of what we wanted to see, and also it was still a really, really good trip.
I still enjoyed the viewing platform. It was literally just I don't know if this is the right word, but in retrospect, when the next day it was so sunny, that was when I regretted having gone the day before.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Because it sucked we didn't get the cool view, but we were like, it was still a nice experience. We were in two prefectures once. The shrine was really cool.
Yeah.
So it was only when we were like, damn it, if only we'd gone today, that we regretted having gone the day before. And then we took the train to Nagano. So we just took the local train. It was like an hour and a half, but it felt like less. We kind of wanted it to last longer because it was really nice. Like it took you through some like very nice like scenic views of rural Japan.
Yeah, honestly, unless you're in a super, super hurry, there's kind of no point taking the Shinkansen. It's so much better taking the other train and kind of taking in the sights and stuff.
And we
For
were the
sure.
only people in our like carriage for the first hour. It was
Yeah.
only when we kind of got to the edges of Nagano City when I think it was a bunch of school kids got on kind of thing. And even then it wasn't full. Like,
Yeah. Again, it's the fact that there's no tourists at the moment means that traveling is so good for us. Like, it kind of, it started off as coronavirus being this terrible thing because we couldn't really do what
like
we
it's
wanted to
still terrible.
I mean, yeah, in terms of travel, I'm saying. So yeah, it's a terrible thing, but in terms of travel, it was bad personally for us because we couldn't go anywhere. But now it's kind of turned into our favor because everything's so empty. You're sort of left alone in all these tourist hotspots. And also, in terms of the workers and stuff, they kind of have more time to help you out as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's actually worked out really well.
Yeah, we like thoroughly enjoyed the trip. Like, despite the fact that it was pretty rain, like it was like we had 3 days and one of the days was like not great weather.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we kind of knew that coming in, even though I was super, like I was too optimistic in that I was hoping we'd have really good weather. So apparently there's heaps of stuff to do when it's raining, like there's a bunch of museums there, but we didn't.
Yeah, apparently there are a lot of museums. People were telling us that.
And when you look up what to do in Karuizawa on a rainy day, it comes up with like 20 museums.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So maybe next time, there's a couple of museums that are worth going to. Because apparently, you were saying this was the only place that had both Summer and Winter Olympics.
I think that
that
means
prefecture.
Nagano as a whole, but Karuizawa also hosted some of the sports of the games. So yeah, it's the only town or city or whatever that's ever hosted both the summer and winter, apparently. I haven't fact checked this, but that's what it says on all the like tourist websites for Nagano.
I wouldn't mind coming back in winter to see what it's like during snow season.
Yeah, I bet it would be a lot busier.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what it's for. Like it's a town for skiing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it was weird because lots of people, like all of our students, our Japanese students, would recommend Karuizawa. Every foreigner who we spoke to, so our work colleagues, hadn't been. So it's a place that a lot of people who live in Tokyo have been to, but people who are visiting Tokyo don't go to, if that makes sense, unless it's for skiing.
Oh, 100%, yeah. So, yeah, it is not a place, it's not really popular with tourists at all. It's kind of, I don't know, I guess you can't even call it a hidden gem because it's not hidden at all with locals. But that's the same with anywhere in the world, there's always places that the locals love going to, but then if you're coming from overseas, if you're here for a month, it was the same with Mount Takao, how we said, if you're coming here for a month, you would not go to Mount Takao.
Well, yeah, because if you were coming to Japan for a month, you're going to go to Kyoto, Osaka, Okinawa, Hokkaido, Tokyo.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to Karuizawa or Nagano.
Yeah. But I would recommend it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've been to Japan and already been to those main spots, then I think it would definitely be a place to see.
Yeah. So again, the four main places I guess that we went to that we'd recommend would be the Prince Shopping Plaza, the Shiraito Falls.
Shiraito?
Yeah, Shiraito Falls. I think it's Rato. I don't know. The Usui Pass Observation Platform. And try to definitely go to that when it's not foggy.
Yeah, don't do what we did.
And then the Karuizawa Ginza Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, you know what, if you're going to be at the observation platform, definitely visit that shrine while you're there.
Yeah. Which actually, the only reason we weren't going to visit that shrine, the only reason we did is because we had to wait for our bus anyway. And we thought we might as well.
And then we spent more time at the shrine than we did at the viewing platform.
Yeah,
so,
true.
It's a small shrine. It's there's a lot of shrines in Japan, so you've probably seen it's if you've been to Japan. But, I still love getting to experience that.
Yeah.
Having such cool old buildings.
Yeah, same.
And, I love how the, women and men who work there wear, traditional clothes. It's a cool experience.
All right, well, that's kind of it for Karuizawa. So we're at Nagano now, and, we're going to be exploring it for the next couple of days. So we'll let you know what we discover on the next podcast. See you then.
Bye.
In the next one. Bye.